Over time, domestic violence has been a scourge because it has cast destruction more than the canker wounds in our world.
Domestic violence is a social phenomenon that has caught up the attention of all and sundry in recent times. Domestic violence can be described as the power misused by one adult in a relationship to control another. It is the establishment of control and fear in a relationship through violence and other forms of abuse. This violence can take form of physical assault, physiological abuse, social abuse, financial abuse, and sexual assault. Domestic violence is simply not an argument. It is a pattern of coercive control that one person exercises over another. Abusers utilize physical and sexual violence, threats, emotional insults, and economical deprivation as the way to dominate their victims and their way.
Domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship used by one partner to maintain control and power over another intimate partner. This form of abuse exists in different forms, which could be physical, sexual, economical, psychological threats used by one partner to maintain influence and power over the other partner.
Variants of domestic violence. There are different variants of domestic violence depending on the forms of their nature, which we have physical, financial, emotional, psychological, verbal, sexual, and spiritual abuse.
Physical abuse. This is where in a relationship one partner abuses the other partner physically by either beating, punching, or kicking to intimidate the other partner. While financial abuse, this is in domestic setting. This is where one partner takes control over the economic resources that diminishes or limits the ability for the other partner to support themselves.
While emotional abuse is an abuse that gives one person the power and control over another through words and gesture. Emotional abuse is very difficult to differentiate or to identify as there are no scars or marks, and this torment can continue indefinitely. Sexual abuse, on the other hand, is a domestic setting, which means attempting to force sexual contact or behavior without the consent of the person. This sexual abuse includes rape, attack of sexual part of the body, forcing sex after physical violence can also occur. Lastly, spiritual abuse is the act of using religion or spiritual beliefs to manipulate someone and to prevent the person or the partner from practicing his or her religion or spiritual beliefs.
Domestic violence can happen to anyone regardless of age, race, sexual orientation, or religion. Domestic violence can occur in both opposite sex and same-sex relationships and can happen to intimate partners who are married, living together, or dating. However, research shows that women are more vulnerable to domestic violence.
Effect of domestic violence to the society. The negative impact of domestic violence on victims, children, families, and the society at large cannot be overemphasized. And some of those impacts are highlighted as follows. Children growing up without learning about positive and respective relationships, high crime rates in the communities, regular household conflicts, alcohol and drug use. Domestic violence has caused varieties of physical and emotional harm to both children and adults in the following ways: ongoing anxiety and depression, low self-esteem, self-harm, emotional disorder, being aggressive towards friends and schoolmates. It causes phobia and insomnia.
Causes of domestic violence. There are varieties of factors that create domestic violence in our society, which includes, firstly, drive for dominancy and control. In this case, one partner feels the need to dominate or to control the other partner due to low self-esteem, extreme jealousy, or inferiority complex. Secondly, traditional belief. This is common among men who have strong traditional belief that women are not superior to them or equal to them, and so they want to take dominance. Thirdly, family and community influence. Perpetrators of domestic violence and abusers learn violence from family, people in the community, and cultural influences, and so they grow up with them. Fourthly, victims of violence. Children who are victims or have witnessed domestic violence think it's the best way to cope violence. And lastly, Alcohol users. Alcohol and other illicit drug and substance addicts find it difficult to control their violence impulse.
Domestic violence can be prevented if the following measures are put in place. Firstly, teach safe and healthy relationship skills by organizing social emotional learning for youth and organizing healthy relationship program for couples. Secondly, create family-based program by teaching parenting skills and preschool enrichment and family engagement.
Thirdly, create protective environments by improving organizational policies and workplace climate. And lastly, support survivors to increase security, which in turn reduces harm.
Put an end to domestic violence today.
End domestic violence.
Put a stop to domestic violence today.
Put an end to domestic violence today.